All right, welcome in everybody. You already know what it is. 10:30 on a Saturday. That means paid for plays coming at you live, so you got action all day to be wagering with us, against us, whatever the hell you want to do. We hope you like today's episode, where we got 5 marquee games to talk about, and then we'll give you everything that we're playing. We'll see if CVS Sam is back. Only 10 last week. Not a real full CVS slate.
Only.
It's all powered by Daily Bread Media. We're live on Twitter at Paid for Played. Click the link in the title if you want to jump over to the YouTube page to be featured in today's show. Drop your best bet, screen grab it, and cloud it later when it wins. Ask any questions. JD had his DFS episode on Thursday, so we hope you all tuned in to that to keep cashing. But it is a beautiful Saturday. It does not feel like fall weather whatsoever on November 12th. Sam, great. I'm glad you didn't rip your shirt for no reason.
No, I mean, last weekend was incredible. It was probably the last time in my life I'm going to be able to use that extra hour for partying and not sleep. Stayed out way too late. It was a great weekend. We were celebrating. Fuck Bama. I mean, the West goes through Baton Rouge from now on.
Ooh.
Roddy, any thoughts about the East?
I just am glad that, all of yous, and I'm wondering where one Sosa the locksmith is because, he was talking crazy last week. I don't know what he anyway. Just
supposedly he might make an appearance because he's saying he's feeling himself since he was really right last weekend was the text I got. So you gotta make sure you remind him of the L. He forgets them.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He was just wrong about one thing, the only thing that I care about anyway. So I'm just glad we got our respect, and stop mentioning your SEC East school with us, please. Stop.
And don't mention them with 2019 LSU ever again.
Yeah, please stop. Just stop. Okay, just enjoy the game. Okay, I know people like to get hyperbolic. I know people like to jump out the window, but just watch them and enjoy it. But when they go up against the boss, slow your roll. Okay, just slow your roll.
JD, it took week 0 and 10 weeks to finally get your first bye week. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Was under the weather last week. Didn't come at a great time because I finally got back in the winning column on the show. I was 4-1. Was ready to follow that up, and then, yeah. But that's what happens when you work at a school and all the kids get sick and you're trapped in a room with them for 6.5 hours. So it happens quite frequently.
Oof.
Yeah, got to feel that. It's the worst time to get you, but at least you got to just kick the feet up, enjoy it, because this Saturday, maybe not as luscious as last Saturday, but still plenty of winners on the board. And it is my favorite Saturday since it's the first one with college hoops back as well. So all the gambling guys who are doing both of them are having a good time. A lot of college basketball games last night, so it's not a full Saturday. We'll get that next weekend. Goose is stuck in Disney. His flight got canceled, so he's not able to make it with us. We're not sure which bye week it is for him at this point, but we got to get under his pay structure, man. Living the dream, but
come on,
congrats
man.
to our man
PTO.
Goose celebrating his engagement and all that good shit.
Yes, sir.
Anything else we want to get into before the 5 games we're previewing, then our best bets?
Good week. It's coming down the stretch, y'all. About 3-4 more weeks. You're going to see a lot of teams press the gas, and you're going to see a lot of teams press the brakes. So let's see. We'll see.
Well, Roddy, your head-to-head that we've been talking about, they pressed the brakes like 3 weeks ago. And you got those teams that are playing for quote-unquote motivation to get that 6th win for the Bulls. You got probably 3 games left for most sides. So you can fade it. You can ride it. Never seen a good trend either way about teams playing for bowl eligibility.
And I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but we could be heading toward me and Roddy head-to-head for the SEC championship.
Indeed. Maybe you take a trip to Atlanta. Maybe.
Maybe. Right, let's get into I was about to say let's get into the first game so we can get away from the LSU talk, but we really can't because this is a game where KJ, if he was healthy and playing, we saw the line. Arkansas was -2.5, so they're saying at Arkansas at full health, LSU is only a half point better. We've seen a huge flip in this line now. 3.5 here, 61.5. He can come off the LSU got no juice after the big dub, but a very, very, very banged up Arkansas side here. JD, you started off for us since we know you like the Hogs, but I don't know how much you will today.
Yeah, it's hard to trust them. It just with anything this year, they've quite clearly taken a step back. Things are not going well. Players are getting arrested. Offense isn't clicking. Your quarterback you rely on to do everything is hurts and isn't practicing. Can't throw without getting steroid injections. Throwing with the bruised clavicle. I don't know about that, right? Like LSU's defense is pretty good, but they give up explosive plays. And if your quarterback has a bruised clavicle, how many explosive plays are you going to get? I'm not so sure. So all that being said, I lean towards LSU. The reason I can't totally trust LSU, I guess I've just been more down on Alabama this season. Like they're a pretty good team. So win over them. Good win, but it's at home. Now you have a letdown spot, 11 a.m. local kick, cold weather football. Hard for me to trust them in that spot. Overall, I really do trust Brian Kelly. I've just seen him routinely. Like they've been playing well, not having letdown spots. It's quite clear to me they're getting better as the season goes on, whereas Arkansas is headed in the wrong direction. So two teams trending in the opposite direction. I did take some prize picks, props, if that's your things. Josh Williams over 11.5 fantasy points. He's, I think, -140 scored a touchdown. So he should hit that. And then Jaden Daniels over 21.5 fantasy points. I don't know how that's that low when he's had 250 burgers in his last 3 games. So that's what I'm looking at.
Roddy, what are you feeling?
So this team lost to Liberty last week, and it was relatively warm, no snow.
Without their starting quarterback, Liberty. Put it that way, too.
Yeah, and not to mention, yes, the backup quarterback did have some good moments. But one, he was throwing to wide open dudes, and two, he had some awful looking moments too. And Arkansas still couldn't come back in the game at all. So I thought this line, it really hasn't fluctuated too much during the week. I thought it was kind of disrespectful, to be honest. Like LSU just came off a great win. I understand, as we know, I was at the last 11 a.m. kick for them. So they did come out a little bit sleepy. I think on the road, there's more of a expectation of, a business type of mindset. Sam, I know you saw the hype video, and Brian Kelly said exactly, what the thought process is if you're Arkansas. Let's hope that they're still thinking about the Alabama win. So I think that Jaden will be able to game manage enough. I don't think he has to be great in this game. I just think he has to connect on those 3rd and 5s, those 3rd and 6s, 3rd and 7s. Give the ball to Josh Williams, obviously a healthy amount since it's going to be cold, and just like gut out a victory. This doesn't have to be one of those wins where, you have to impress the committee in any type of way. You already got, what you need for your resume pretty much this season. So all you need is wins. So I think this will probably be an ugly game, but my biggest bet of the day is LSU -4. So I'm taking the Tigers.
All right, Sam, you can finally speak on the Tigers.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to say, like, LSU started doing this, like, Hard Knocks in-season type of thing through their own website. And, like, I watched the Alabama week recap. And since Monday of last week, Brian Kelly's been talking about if we don't beat Arkansas or show up for Arkansas, whatever we do against Alabama isn't going to matter. I mean, this is a guy that hasn't lost a November game since 2017. I don't know. I mean, and in the history of like LSU in my lifetime, the letdowns come after an Alabama loss, not after an Alabama win. Normally, whenever they beat Alabama, they take care of business down the stretch and go on to the SEC championship. They know that like Ole Miss could easily upset Alabama this week. I mean, with how Alabama's been playing on the road, we're going to talk about that one in a little bit, but they have to take care of business to get to Atlanta, and I think they're going to do that. I think Arkansas is banged up in the secondary, and it's what is already an already bad, very bad secondary. KJ's maybe not playing. He hasn't been throwing all week in practice. We saw what that did to their offense last week because he didn't throw at all leading up to the Liberty game. And now I think LSU's just locked in. They're ready to go. I think Brian Kelly's going to have them in the right mindset. I understand it's 11 a.m. kickoff, but I think they'll be good to go. They'll get in, get out, take care of business. Maybe on the uglier end, but as long as you get a dub, it doesn't really matter.
I don't know. The -3.5 seems a little too easy here.
Does it feel at all like the Tennessee LSU game where the line just didn't make any sense?
No, it's just more
No,
of
Tennessee's a good team.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. And I think it's more of last time, like I said, y'all came out at 11 a.m. Y'all look very sleepy and it's snowing. So that's why it gets a
It's
little
not snowing anymore.
Well, it's cold as hell. I'll say that. And it don't be cold as hell in Louisiana. So it's probably just that factor. But I don't see Arkansas. What are they going to be able to do against y'all's defense? Maybe run the ball a little bit, but like you said, the clavicle issue, they're not about to have KJ running up the middle or doing a lot of quarterback powers and stuff like that. So I don't know, but yeah. That's what it is.
All right. Do we want to move on to the second game on the slate?
Yeah, let's do it.
Whew. John Reese Plumlee. Anyone know if he's playing today?
Still game time. That's what I'm hearing. Just still a game time decision. Which we might be waiting until 1 o'clock for that. So
we might need to go back.
It's all right. We'll still rock the Tulane money line. That's where I'm starting off. I'm not going to wear the shirt for no reason. I'm -120, and this is the full expectation that Reese Plumlee ain't playing today, just because I like this game to probably most likely go under the total as well. I just can't trust the backup. I think Tulane has a solid enough defense. You'll get ranked 17 for nothing where they have to worry about the pass game and scheme it that way. They'll be able to control it and not give up more than 21 points here to UCF, especially with the backup in. Plumlee will change it because he can make plays with his legs and with throwing. Still not full health, maybe not shaky, but give me the money line at -120 for the Wave. Who's going against it? Who's rocking it?
I had something for the LSU game. I have zero interest.
Show
in
up on
game.
time, and then maybe you'll be able to be in
I
on
sent
the show.
10 messages in the private chat.
We're locked in on the show.
Literally.
Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't even see it either, to be honest.
I texted you 3 times as well.
My phone's on Do Not Disturb during the show because it's buzzing off from all the retweets.
He's trying to say I showed up late. I was here the entire LSU segment. The entire LSU segment I was here. So just saying. They're not losing today, by the way. Sam Pittman fooled you guys last year because he won some games with some other coaches' players, but that's a different story for another day. Diamond Tester's going off on him. I'm sorry. He can
delete a beer though.
He can, but he's going to be just like the last 4 coaches at Arkansas. He's going to collect the check till the boosters get tired and they fire him because he's not doing shit there. They're not going to win anything. They're not going to contend. That's exactly what it'll be. He'll get fired after 3 seasons max. He'll never win anything, and they'll be on to the next Alabama or Georgia assistant. Or maybe some guy from Wisconsin randomly. You know what I mean? That always happens once in a while. But LSU's not losing it. This UCF game at Tulane's a huge surprise, right? Are they the highest ranked non-Power 5 school in America?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty interesting for that program. And aren't they down to they've played multiple quarterbacks? They've had a really weird situation there. I think we get points. I think Tulane's I like the over personally. I think both teams will be able to move the ball relatively easily against each other. But that'd be the only play I like. And like I said in the LSU game, Brian Kelly finna beat the shit out of Arkansas today. I don't even think it'll be close.
Who else has thoughts on Tulane versus UCF? Sam?
I've got a Tulane money line ticket. I don't know. It looks like it'll be a fun game to watch. It's a good group of 5 game. Probably playing for one of the New Year's 6 slots in this one. So give me Tulane at money line. I got it -115 before the show. Give me the Tulane money line at home.
JD, what do you like here?
I lean on the Tulane side of things. They beat Kansas State and they beat East Carolina. That's a common opponent when they beat East Carolina pretty easily. That's a pretty good team. We saw them play last night. Gave Cincy everything. If their running back didn't get hurt, they win that game. They both play that team. Okay, Tulane handled them easily, 124-9. UCF got blown out, 34-13. I don't know if it matters who plays for UCF. Obviously, Plumlee's a good player, but Tulane's weakness is in the secondary. UCF has like 3 SEC transfers at wide receiver. I think they're going to be able to score some points as well, regardless who's at quarterback. But yeah, Tulane's more well-rounded. They have the better wins. They've been better defensively. They're at home, and it's a pick 'em game. So I'd have to go with Tulane.
All right. Make sure you're following, like, retweet, sub to the channel. If you're catching us on Twitter, hop over to the YouTube link in the title to be featured in today's show. Give us shit. Tell us what you're rocking today. Ask us any questions, player props, whatever it is. The chat is out there for you guys. Now we got Bama revenge spot. We can always talk about it because we've hit this home. The team just hasn't showed up on the road so far this season, and neither has that defense. Can Ole Miss finally get that statement win against them on their lane? Sam, what do you like here?
I don't know if they can get the win, but I don't think it's outside of double digits in this one. Kind of similar to what we were thinking last week. I mean, Alabama's defense, like you said, Alabama's defense doesn't show up on the road. They're a very undisciplined team on the road. And Ole Miss had a bye last week. They got to sit back and watch, and Lane probably has a bunch of stuff drawn up ready to attack this Alabama defense. Just for reference, last week, LSU rushed for 185 yards, and they're not a really good rushing team. I think Ole Miss is the most effective running team in the country outside of the service academies. So I think they're going to be able to run the ball. I think it could get into kind of a back and forth shootout similar to how it was in 2020. But yeah, I mean, I like Ole Miss plus the points. Think they keep it close, and I like the over 65.
I think it's almost to the point now, and we saw it last week. The Bama defense is the easy point to throw to, but it might be the guy calling the plays for Alabama that's really hurting them this season and relying on the QB to be making plays too much. Roddy, you think Bill O'Brien's having a good year?
No, I think that we're 9 games in, and the leading receiver on the team doesn't even have 500 fucking yards. Those receivers stink. They don't have a Henry Ruggs, a Jerry Jeudy, a Jalen Waddle. They don't have those guys. When you don't have those guys, it's not going to look pretty. It's the defense. The defense is good. The offense sucks. It's Bryce Young make a play or Gibbs make a play. They have nobody that can stretch the field. They have nobody that gets open in the intermediate parts of the field. The tight end flashes here and there. A receiver flashes here and there. It's 9 games in. The leading receiver on the team doesn't even have 500 yards. Those receivers fucking stink. Compared to what they've had, it's not even close. There's no Jamison Williams out there. There's not even a John Mechie. These guys are not the same caliber of receiver they've had in Alabama over the last 5 years. It's easy to blame O'Brien, but you're only as good as the parts that you have available to you. Those receivers, there are 3 receivers at LSU better than anything at Alabama. Tell me I'm lying, Sam.
No, I mean it's completely true. But I also think that even though the receivers stink, Ole Miss's defense fucking sucks. I mean, they made Connor Wegman in his first start look like he was Joe Burrow. I mean, like he was dicing them up and down the field.
Yeah.
I don't think Bill O'Brien's some genius, but again, like if you look at the receivers they've had just last year to this year, it's night and day. Those guys just are not as talented.
I mean, you can go to the easy town way, but still, they ain't getting open. The offense isn't creative whatsoever. They ain't gaining yards on first and second down, even when they're running it. That's what I'm saying. You just can't point to the wide receivers. I think it's one of the worst called offenses, and when the ball does get into the receiver's hands is when Bryce breaks the pocket, and it's schoolyard ball, which is no longer running the offense that Bill called for that play.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason Alabama was in the game last week was because of that, like, miraculous play where he dances around in the pocket, breaks free, and finds someone down the field.
Busted coverage because
everybody's standing there watching.
what
Like all the
defensive back
receivers
can
are just
cover for 10
standing there.
seconds.
Yep.
Yeah. And I tweeted this during the game last week. I said Ja'Cory Brooks has steel hands. Jermaine Burton is an outcast. Like who's the number one guy out there? And even Sosa just brought up last year. I watched the game from last year. It was early on in the season, so everybody was basically healthy. And the game looked totally different. Like J-Mo made everything that much easier for them.
Mechie was serious too.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, and you have a possession receiver in Mechie that's able to get you those 3rd and 6s, those 3rd and 7s that I was talking about for LSU. So in terms of this game specifically, I think, again, Nick is an egotist. We know this. He is not about to let Lane be the one that has these Alabama fans in his front yard when he gets home. Okay. So I have, like Sam said, the defense of Ole Miss has been horrendous all year. So I got Bryce Young over 2.5 passing touchdowns at plus 105. I think they're going to score and score and score and score. They're going to be able to stretch the field a little bit, but again, like it's just because Ole Miss's defense is that bad. I just saw Ole Miss's team total is at 26.5. I'm taking that as well. Again, Judkins is going to have a field day today. I wouldn't take his over 90. I think it's like 95.5 rushing yards. I wouldn't
might
do that.
have that in the first half, man. I don't know.
I mean, but he's going to have a good game. Like there's no doubt about it. And yeah, like I agree with everything y'all said. Like we have to stop looking at this football team specifically as if they're still like a juggernaut. Like they just don't got it. They just don't got it like they used to. And that's fine to admit. It's been 10 fucking years, 13 fucking years.
Yeah, like 10,
like
15 years.
It's okay to have a down year. Like, damn.
Let's get JD's thoughts here. And no one's talking about Ole Miss, which probably in the big media, same things happening too. They're all ranting and raving about this Bama side, what's going wrong. Could be the recipe of success. JD, what are your thoughts?
I don't have a ton new to bring to the table. I haven't really said anything good about Alabama all year because there hasn't really been anything good. There hasn't been anything good to say.
Yeah.
When have they looked good? They looked good once against Mississippi State, which is a very binary team. You shut down the air raid, you look good. That's the only time they look good. Didn't look good at the start of the season against Texas. Texas A&M almost beat this team. Okay, so the warning signs have been there. I think it's quite clear. Now, the issue is everybody's caught on now. I don't think that's reflected in the betting market, though, because 11.5 point favorites on the road.
Mm-hmm.
All that being said, you are correct, Rex. No one's talking about – everyone's pointing out what's wrong with Alabama, but Ole Miss is a pretty easy team to beat, in my opinion, because their defense is terrible and their quarterback makes a ton of mistakes. So if you just make Jackson Dart throw the ball and get an interception or two, which I think is extremely likely, then it's pretty easy to find a win anyway. So nothing strong for me. I'm just pointing out some warning signs on Ole Miss. This is a team that we haven't really believed in this year, and I think we were spot on that.
And to go with JD's point, like that's why I picked LSU against them when they played, because the previous 3 weeks, if you watch Ole Miss, they were begging to lose until the likes of Vanderbilt at that. So I think, again, like the offenses are going to score. If you want to hit the over, I think there might be upwards to 75, 76 points in this game for real.
Yep, and this one seems like it could be a nice live betting spot with this number being at 11.5, kind of dead. Wait for either team to score first. You'll probably clear the 14 or clear below the 10. So maybe some live betting angles there for you to be looking at. We got 2 games left on the board. Then we'll give you all of our plays for the day. Be out here by 11:30, so don't you worry about it. Washington at Oregon. Another big spread, 12.5 here. Washington started strong, real rough middle stretch. Are they coming back, JD? Or is this Bo Nix continues to be dominant except for game 1?
Yeah, so I wrote up this game for covers, so go ahead and check that out. If you want the full breakdown, 10-0 run on best bet, so not to jinx it or anything. I think this is the top of the market for Oregon. They've looked great. But yeah, Washington hasn't covered a spread since September 24th. So I think it's the low for them and the high for Oregon because they've been blowing out everybody. I don't love the matchup, Oregon, for covering 2 touchdowns because they just can't stop the pass. And that's all Washington does is throw the ball. They throw it very well. They have a couple NFL receivers, and Penix has been in college. And I don't know, what is he, 26 years old? I mean, that means something, right?
He at least 30.
He's at least 30. He looks like a grown-ass man out there, okay? Yeah, I think there's going to be points. So overall, I think both teams are going to score because Washington's defense, I mean, they're known as DBU on the West Coast, and they graduated everyone to the NFL, and this team can't defend the pass. Bo Nix is going to light them up. They can't defend the rush. Oregon's going to run for 250. I think there's going to be a ton of points. Seems like maybe a Washington backdoor because Washington has 35 more passing yards per game than any team in the country. So I don't know who saw that coming, but they've been throwing the ball well on everybody. They're going to throw the ball well here in soft matchup. So definitely like the over.
Roddy, any thoughts here?
Home Bo Nix. I saw so many is Bo Nix going to be considered for the Heisman now that he's having a good season and Bryce Young has lost 2 games? And I'm like, bro, come on, man. I mean, look, I know he's performed well at home. Obviously, Washington has had a roller coaster of a season this year. I still believe that Oregon has the edge since they're at home, but 12.5 is way too much. I definitely see if Wazoo can backdoor them on a smaller spread, I think Washington, I think they'll be fine. So I would be inclined to take the 12.5 with Washington if I had to bet it, but I have absolutely no real money on this game.
Sam, you got anything for here? The 7 o'clock slate's kind of tonight, to put it leastly.
I mean, I do like Oregon, like Brody said, home Bo Nix. He's and JD tweeted out last week, Oregon's playing they've been playing with teams. They've been messing with them and then just pounding them at the end of the game. I think they're going to be able to cover this spread. I mean, I know they'll probably give up some points. I just think the team itself is good enough to pull away late and kind of, or at least get out early and kind of prevent that backdoor cover. So I do have Oregon minus 13. Took it yesterday. I got the bigger number, but I still like them to cover a 2-touchdown spread.
So you got anything in the Pac-12 for here?
I was rocking with what JD said, the over. I mean, both teams are going to score. Washington, they're pass happy, like he said. Who saw Penix even? I thought he was dead in the water after I saw him play after that knee. He looked like he had lost it. He no longer trusted himself. He just looked like he almost had the yips when he was at Indiana. And it's a hell of a reclamation project because, like you said, this Washington team for the last decade, they haven't been an offensive team. Obviously Washington State across the way, they've been air raid for the last almost 10 years. So seeing this offense, seeing them be an offensive team when for the last decade or so they've been more on the defensive side, it's been interesting. I don't like Bo Nix, but he will fool an NFL team, much like Sam Howell did. He's executing the offense at a high level, and you really can't say anything, right? It's execution. It's if you execute and win, it's going to look good. That's what it's done. They also have the best loss in the country, along with Tennessee. So they look to be in the driver's seat. I think Oregon wins the game, and I think they cover the game late. I think they'll cover the 12.5 late, just simply because Washington puts the ball in the air 50 times plus a game, and Penix is gonna look good on some plays. He's gonna look terrible on some others. Oregon at the crib, I think they find a way late, something along the lines of 55 to 41 or some shit like that. I think there's just tons of points scored today.
I got a question for, I guess, JD. Do you see any kind of look ahead spot here with Utah coming in next week, or is this just a good enough game to grab their attention?
It could be a little bit. I mean, the teams Oregon's been playing there's nothing. They're putting linebackers in they're running trick plays. They've been playing absolutely nobody. So on one hand, it's
you can do that against Colorado.
You can do that against Colorado. Washington, I think Oregon hates Washington. The two fan bases, they hate each other. So I think they're going to be up for this one at home.
Okay.
Yeah, first half might be the best way to avoid that back door there. And then if they do start doing some janky stuff like you've seen them do, it usually happens in the second half here after it's too far within doubt. Last game, then we'll give you all of our plays for the day here. Texas is laying 7, fellas. And is this the most public dog of all time where everyone has a TCU plus 7.5 in a money line ticket? It's your tout's favorite play.
That was last
man,
week.
I can't. I
That was
really want the
last
Horned
week.
Frogs to pull this one out here, but something tells me it doesn't happen.
Watch your mouth, Roddy.
That was no. I was just answering Rex. He asked the question. I was
Watch
just
your
letting
mouth.
him know that this wasn't the most America's favorite public dog. That was last week, but we'll keep last week and last week.
But I hit on
Well, yeah,
three
because
of them.
that's the
I know
SEC.
one
It
public
means
dog
more.
that won outright.
Could have been
It means
undefeated.
more.
Two public dogs that won outright.
I wanted better for you. Anyway, but yeah, I look, this line has not moved, okay, at all. So that means there's a trap coming. That's all that means. There's a trap coming in some way. Texas at home has been good, but TCU as of late has kind of been getting sloppy. I did not like last week at all, especially having a team total ticket. I didn't like it even more. But I'm leaning Texas because I think Quinn is gonna be good. See, I can't say it confidently. Like they've given me nothing consistent over this year to be confident in them, and they lost to one of my 3 hell no teams in the Big 12, which is Iowa State. So I again, like maybe Texas covers, but I would not put my money on this game at all. Like it's a trap either way. Something bad is coming in this game. Just wait for it.
Well, last week, Roddy, I had the pleasure of having that Kansas State money line ticket, and that was like probably Texas's most complete game of the season, in my opinion, last week. And to be able to contain the run like that was pretty impressive from that perspective. Now you got a different style of attack coming at you. And, JD, what do you like here? Because I can't swing myself either way.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with the line. The issue is we all know how this game's going to go. We should know because it happens every single week with TCU. Texas gets out to a huge 24-0 lead. Quinn Ewers, 3 straight touchdown passes to Xavier Worthy, maybe to Bijan. They're blowing them out. And then Quinn Ewers is going to get hurt because every quarterback that plays TCU gets hurt. TCU comes back. They storm back in the second half. That's how every single TCU game has gone. It's not I've been betting against them. And I feel like I've had the right side. I had Kansas State, and the exact same thing happened. They were on their 3rd-string quarterback. So there's some weird juju going on. I don't disagree with the line whatsoever. I think Texas should roll over them. Max Duggan is hurt, okay? And Johnston is hurt as well, okay? So those are their 2 best offensive players. Texas is pretty good at stopping the rush. I think Texas should absolutely roll them. But, yeah, Texas looked good last week. But Sarkisian, has he had a team look good for 2 straight weeks ever?
No.
Hard for me to trust them. So I think Texas rolls, not confident enough to put money behind them. I like Texas team total over 37.5 because TCU's defense has looked god-awful, and they've been playing backup quarterbacks all year. It's not a joke. All year they've been playing backup quarterbacks, and they've still been terrible.
Duggan's a fucking backup.
Yes, Duggan is a backup as well. Well, he's a backup because he's played for 4 years, and he was fucking terrible. So he had a shot, and he blew.
So, JD, you're saying look for TCU second half and then potentially play Texas first half. You like the Texas team total overall, but if you want to game script it, there's many different ways you can attack that strategy.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I'm not going to bet on stuff that doesn't make sense, but that's what happens in every TCU game. So.
Yep. You're right. The TCU second half has been the cash cow of the season for you if you've just been rocking it.
Hey,
Sam,
special.
I know you got thoughts.
I really don't. I'm staying away from this one.
See, get Sam scared.
I am. I don't
service,
know.
9 a.m.
Look, I've been on the opposite side of Texas for like everything. I've bet them whenever they lose outright. I've bet them, or I've faded them whenever they look good. So I can't figure them out. So I'm just going to stay away. I think the only prop I would maybe look at, I just looked it up, Bijan Robinson, over 1.5 touchdowns, plus 285. So rushing touchdown. So maybe target that. I think he's going to have a lot of yards in this game. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. Maybe lean the over, but yeah, I'm just going to stay away from this one and watch it. And hopefully it's a good game. So,
any last thoughts on this game here?
Texas wins and covers. That's just where I'm at. TCU, like JD said, has been the luckiest team in Division I football all year. I think the committee knows it as well, which is why they give them no respect in the rankings. Like they've looked at this team and they're like, they just keep getting fucking lucky.
So you're saying if they took a loss at some point in the season, you trust them more in this game?
No, I'm saying that like all of their wins have been lies. We've been bamboozled.
But if they lost one, they wouldn't all be lies then, because then you have the proof that they
No,
lost.
they're
That's
all
what-
lies. They're all pretty much fraudulent. Bruh, I like JD already explained it. Those teams they played earlier this season, every team they've played, something weird's happened. I'm 100% rocking with Texas to win and cover. Quinn Ewers masterclass today. I think that secondary can be had. This TCU team has given up more explosive plays than any team in the conference by a country mile. Like they have not been good. How they continue to win is an absolute mystery, to be honest, man. I don't know how a defense this bad can continue to eke out wins. And also the best thing that can happen is them losing, so everybody can just shut the fuck up about them actually having a genuine chance of making the college football playoff. The last thing anybody wants is for TCU to get put on Pornhub by 100 against a team that's really good. So I think their season ends today. Texas wins and covers. That's my favorite bet in this game. They'll cover the touchdown.
But I also think if Texas was the team with TCU's resume, they'd be like the number 2 team in the country in the playoff rankings.
But that will have meant that they beat Alabama.
No, I'm saying if TCU if you just put Texas's logo on TCU's resume, they would be the number 2
Just
team.
strip the T in the
Yeah,
C and the U
I
from your name.
don't agree with that, man. Just because of the circumstances that JD was pointing out. I mean, bro, like they've gotten super lucky.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying I think their brand is a little bit of what's keeping them down also.
Yeah, and also the general media is thirsty for Texas to be good. They are. That's definitely a fact. I mean, I heard people making every excuse for every game they've lost on the internet, finding ways to just to be like, well, if this hadn't happened and that hadn't happened, we wouldn't have. Again, it's the margin of error and winning and losing in football is extremely small. And especially in college football, when your star quarterback goes down like Ewers did, that's how it goes. Because if there's no way, I don't think anybody here could be convinced that Texas would have lost that game against Alabama had Quinn Ewers not gotten hurt.
No, they might.
Is there anybody here that disagrees with that? Because they were rolling.
They might have blew him out. That's what I said. They might have won by double digits.
He hurt his collarbone or whatever, and the chances went with him. And then obviously Bryce Young made like 5 Michael Vick plays, and that was the game. So,
all right, time to get to our best bets. Any other thoughts that JD might have for player props, fantasy pros way? But who's betting Wisconsin versus Iowa today with the total at 35.5?
Some sick people.
Call that
Really an
gambler
option
hotline.
out there.
1-800-GAMBLER.
I just had to shout out that game because you have that one at the total, and then you have, I know Sam has a play on Wake versus UNC, so I don't need to bring up that total. You don't have a play on the 79 for the total?
What time does that game kick off? We might be betting it later. After
Like
some
7:30,
I think.
Okay, then yeah, we'll probably bet it later.
JD, you got any thoughts or any other games you want to shout out? I was just going through the board of the grossest game possible out there today. I think that's it.
I think that one probably takes the cake. Yeah, go ahead and shout out if you guys want any more games. There's a full slate. Bye weeks aren't really a thing this week, right? Most teams have had their bye. No, I'm going to take this opportunity though. Shout out a few more props.
Let's go.
Okay. So I gave a few. We're on Cedric Tillman over 14.5 fantasy points. He's back. He's healthy. He averaged double that to end last season over the last half of last year. So that's a great player people forgotten about. There's some NFL teams out there that have him top 3 on their wide receiver board for this draft class. So they should do some numbers there. Dorian Thompson-Robinson. There's another guy we talked about. Yeah, he's pushing 30, and he's playing an Arizona team that's pushing worst Power 5 defense I've ever seen. So we're going to take his over 26.5. If you're not playing these price picks, by the way, you're doing yourself a disservice. I say it all the time. Blake Corum over 20.5 against Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Nebraska, wow, they can't stop the rush. Blake Corum, he's going for the Heisman. He's actually up to 3rd in Heisman voting, which tells you all you need to know about the Heisman. But he had the flu last week, okay, so he was like puking on the sidelines. That's not going to last a full week. They're going to give him like 5 touchdowns to try to get him.
Ask JD.
So.
He just went through it.
Yeah.
How do we mention sicko games without mentioning A&M Auburn?
I'll get to it. Don't worry. Don't you worry, Bubba.
Right.
Don't you worry.
I was about to say, Sam, I think I don't know who you're going to hate bet on that game if it was even possible.
Don't you worry, Bubba. It's going to get sick when I bring that up.
There's definitely a hate bet involved with that.
It's going to get sick when I bring that up. But
yeah, just to go off that quorum point that JD made, Michigan's team total first half and full game has probably been the play that isn't going to make my card today, just because I just think they don't attempt a single pass to exactly what JD said. Quorum probably ends the day with 3 touchdowns to boost those stats that much more. First half team total sitting at 25.5. I just think the clock can probably just run out at that point there. Nebraska, I don't think they break 10 points this game. So I think this is Michigan. They need all the good points that they can get before they potentially take down Ohio State or have a good loss, quote unquote, against it to sneak their way into the playoffs. So I think Michigan might go crazy today. I'll be at Sunday service with Sam because I'm too scared to back them.
We got any thoughts on this one from the Notre Dame fans?
No.
I'm on Navy.
I would take Navy with the points. They limit possessions. Our defense is better. I think we'll win the game, but it's going to be a game where Navy just tries to where Notre Dame just scratches and claws and just finds a way to win the game. I mean, I don't think Navy will really compete per se, but again, it's just they run the ball the entire game. They're not, and then we don't have some level of an explosive offense anyway. So again, we win, but it'll be 7-10 maybe. Like 7 to 10 points. Yeah, like 17 is a lot of points.
Yeah, I played Navy. That's one of my best bets. Too many points. So it's got it. You limit possessions, and they're terrible. They can't stop the pass. Navy can't stop the pass. Well, Notre Dame can't throw the ball. Don't want to throw the ball, and they're actually pretty good at stopping the rush. That's what Notre Dame does. Same on the flip side. Okay, so like Notre Dame's pretty good at stopping. They've seen the triple option. Marcus Freeman, right? He coached at Cincinnati. They played Navy, same conference. So we've seen the triple option before. Notre Dame's seen it before. Yeah, I'm on Navy. Low scoring.
All right, let's get into the best bets because I got to play on the Baylor game. Sam, you want to start it off?
Yep, I'll recap what we have in the show. 10 plays again. Not quite to the CVS receipt length, but LSU -3, Alabama, Ole Miss over 65, Ole Miss plus 11.5, Oregon -13, and Tulane money line. Those are what we've already gone over. I also have Tennessee -20 and the over in that one at 56.5. I just don't see what everyone's seeing with Missouri. Like they lost at home to Kentucky last week, a banged up Kentucky team. They haven't looked good all year, and Tennessee is still one of the best teams in the country. Like I think they're going to put up a ton of points. I think they might get close to the over themselves. And I think Missouri's going to be able to move the ball and score some points, but I still think Tennessee rolls in this one. I also like Georgia -16.5. This feels disrespectful. I understand that they play Mississippi State, but I mean, I think they could roll to a 7 or sleepwalk to a 17-point win in this one. Mississippi State's just not a good football team. So I think Georgia rolls in that one also. In this Baylor-Kansas State game, we have Baylor -2.5, another one of those unranked team at home, favored against a ranked opponent coming in. I like the spot. I think Baylor's going to pull away. They're still kind of in the Big 12 championship game hunt. They might squeak in or backdoor their way into that one. I think they know what's coming. And then also we talked about it earlier, sicko game of the day, Auburn, A&M. Auburn money line, baby. Auburn money line, -115. Let's go. Like,
keep going.
A&M's not going to make a bowl this year. A&M is not going to make a bowl game this year.
In year 5.
Is Jimbo going to get fired?
In year 5.
I mean, wouldn't you want to get fired if you were guaranteed $90 million?
How many recruits can decommit in a month?
He about to see. Man. He about to see post January. He about to see.
And all those 5 stars are going to be in the portal too. I mean, it is not looking good for A&M. I think Auburn's going to play their heart out for Cadillac. Like, it's at home. The game is sold out. I think Jordan Ayers is going to be rocking. Like, they can they can kind of get to a bowl game. If they win this game, I think it's going to be close. But in the sicko game, give me Auburn at home. I think something magical happens with Cadillac at the helm. Auburn money line, baby.
Roddy, I know you got Auburn money line or something along those lines. So get into your card.
I mean, look, man, I'm going to call this Tiger Saturday, man. I'm rolling with all the Tigers that are in the Southeastern Conference. I think I have all exclusive SEC bets this week. I'm going with what I know, okay? Except for one, Rex, and we'll get to that one last since, we're kind of going head-to-head. But I also have Auburn, but I have Auburn minus 1.5. This game is at 7 o'clock. And it's at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And I looked at the line, and I said, yep, this is the weird Auburn game. This is the really weird game that they either win by like double digits or like something crazy as hell happens, and they end up winning on like a 60-yard field goal on some weird shit. Like something weird is going to happen in this football game. So I'm taking Auburn. This is a hate bet. Again, like Jimbo is juggling, like he doesn't know what's going on right now. He's just trying to make it through the season. That's all. He's just trying to make it through.
Can I say something funny real quick? I know, like, I look at Time Hop every now and then, still like look back at tweets from like years ago, and one popped up yesterday, and it was me tweeting, "I'm all in on Jimbo to LSU." And I'm just so glad that hasn't happened. And I didn't do that to myself.
Go delete that right now.
You know what? It was a wild coaching search. We went all the different directions and ended up in the right spot. So
watch, because when B. Kells hires him as the offensive coordinator, your ass is gonna be sick.
No way, man.
The only person he'd ever hire is Tommy Reese.
But let me keep going. So me and Sam are going head to head. I believe in Missouri's defensive line. Okay, I already understand that they're not really great anywhere else. Okay, I get it. But I really do think they're going to be able to get to Hendon. I think they're not only a good defensive line, I think they're an athletic defensive line. So they're going to be playing a lot of contain. They're going to go down the field. They just can't get bombed. I think they're going to be able to score the ball too. Look, we can do it. We can do it because
can I get in on this? About giving out donations. I want to know this.
Bro, look, Chuck, I'm telling you, we good, baby. Don't listen to the haters, all right? I'm understanding that this looks crazy, but I'm telling you right now, they're going to make this game absolutely disgusting. Okay, Missouri plays dirty too. I don't know if y'all watched the tape of the Georgia game. They dove at Jalen Carter's knees earlier in the game, so they might pull out the same bag. Eli be on that shit.
I'm so confident in this bet. I took it before the Georgia Tennessee game. Like in one of the look ahead lines, I took this like no questions asked.
Yeah, but I'm rocking with it. I'm confident. Okay, we'll go to Oxford. Like I said, I got Bryce Young over 2.5 passing touchdowns. That's at plus 105. I'm not touching anything else in this game just because it's really weird. A lot of people are not talking about this game, but Florida at home versus South Carolina, 8.5. I think, it's natural, and this is purely narrative based, that with all the quarterback play at the top, kind of not looking as good as we thought they were going to look, Anthony Richardson is going to creep up the draft boards, and he's going to start having these meaningless games that, the numbers look good. I don't know. He's winning games against South Carolina. Look, I'm telling you, Rex, South Carolina, don't bank on them. I'm telling you, they disappoint you every time. They'll rip your heart out. If they ain't got the old ball coach over there.
Not against Texas A&M, they didn't. The only time we bet on them.
Well, you know why we bet on them, because of that. You know why. But let me see. What's the rest? We'll go to Starkville real quick. I'm with Sam. I got the minus 17 and minus 105. Don't really know how don't know how Mississippi State is going to stretch the field. But that was Freudian slip. Shut up. Anyway, don't know how Mississippi State is going to stretch the field Will is an underneath thrower. We're gonna have picks. We're gonna rule that game. So I actually have Mississippi State also under 9.5 points for the half. Don't know how that's gonna happen. And then for my last play, me and Rex going head to head. They can't lose to the Nerds, can they?
Bro, the
Can they
team gave
lose to
up
the
6
Nerds?
weeks ago. That team gave up 6
My-
weeks ago. If you want to
my-
really trust whatever product the U's going to throw out there at a 3:30 game in Georgia, the Jackets are going to roll them.
Mario, mi gente, okay? Listen
We
to
rocked
me.
Georgia Tech last week. They ain't letting us down. They're cashing us back-to-back weeks.
Miami money line, please.
Is
If
Rodney
they're not
gonna
going to
have a
show up
one
against
bet with
It's
Y'all
the
are,
everybody?
Nerds.
y'all are serious right now, are you?
It's the Nerds.
Bro, do you listen?
It's
do you
the
know, hold
Nerds.
on. Do you know what kind of state your university's got to be in when a kid turns down $9.5 million fucking dollars to go somewhere else? Like, hold on, did y'all process that shit?
To
Did
go to
anybody
Gainesville,
put that shit
Florida at
together?
that. To
Yep.
go
Bro,
to
they gave
Gainesville,
him
Florida.
$9.5 million fucking dollars. He said, "You know what? I think I'd rather go to the school up north. I'm out." Like, no, they're
It's
dead in
the
the water
Nerds.
by it. They lost to Duke.
It's the Nerds.
They lost to Middle Tennessee
Those are
State.
fucking nerds too. Dog, not only that, but with the Middle Tennessee State game,
They got
bruh,
blown out.
holy shit. They had like 6 plays over 70 yards. You trust them? You're out of
Those
here.
are
Starting
Nerds.
quarterback and starting running back were just announced out, by the way. I'm not
For
For
sure.
Miami?
For Miami, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, all
Jordan
right.
Travis
Never mind,
was
y'all.
spotted.
Sorry.
Dog,
Rewind
the
this.
NIL deal at Miami
Rewind
was
this.
$9.5
They're quitting.
million.
Georgia Tech is
quitting.
just going to run the ball like constantly and just dominate the game. They might pass it a few times. Georgia Tech on the money line. I got it minus 120 like a half hour before the show because I lock in all the plays right before the show. But yeah,
It's the Nerds, man. That's all I have. But come, bro, it's the Nerds.
so we got to get to JD's bets, my bets, and then Sosa's bets because
Nah,
I think
I
this
don't-
is the longest best bets I've ever.
Oh.
I don't have nothing. I don't have nothing. Just the plays we talked about already on the big games. I'm diving into college basketball a little bit more, and I'm gonna let JD make us all the money.
Hopefully. Yeah, like I said, 4-1 last time we did this. Hopefully that means we're hot. Okay. I got 2 dogs, 2 favorites, and 2 overs. Navy, I already talked about that one, plus 17. I'm taking Louisville. I know they're playing at Clemson. That's supposed to be a hard place to play, but usually Clemson has a good football team, okay? And I'm not really sure they've had a good football team the last 2 years. Louisville almost won this game last year. They won 4 straight games by double digits. Clemson can't throw the ball. They don't have a quarterback. Their defense is supposed to be amazing, and they've given up yards to every single team that has a pulse. So I'm just going to kind of not trust Clemson whatsoever here. I don't think they're making the playoffs, and I think they know that. So I think this is a letdown spot. Louisville could steal one. Okay, and then I'm going 2 favorites. Oklahoma minus 8.5, going to Morgantown. I think Oklahoma's going to absolutely light up the scoreboard. West Virginia's defense is god-awful. Oklahoma's going up. West Virginia's going down. They've lost 3 in a row. So I'm going to ride Oklahoma there. Washington State minus 9.5. They're playing at home. This is a good team at home. Arizona State, like they beat Colorado or something. So now people think Arizona State is decent. They got like a high school coach coaching that team. All their best players transferred out. That team sucks. Okay. So I'm taking Washington State. I think they're underrated minus 9.5. 2 overs. We're going to Conference USA. What happened? What'd I do?
No, the comment said Clemson had, and it was supposed to be has.
Yeah, again, they used to have a good football team. Okay, right now. They used to have good coaches. Okay, right now. Not so sure. Rice, Western Kentucky, over 61. No weather concerns. Both teams are probably going to score 40. Rice's defense sucks. Okay. Louisiana Tech, their defense is also terrible. They allowed 42 points to Florida International.
Yep. 42
points to Florida International. They're playing UTSA, a team that drops 40 on every team they play in the conference. So I'm taking that over 68.5 because UTSA's defense has been pretty bad on the other side of things. That's all I got. 6 plays. 6-pack.
All right, and I'll wrap it up with my 6-pack coming off the 4-2 week last week. Army, Troy, under 45.5, minus 110. If you only have a 45 out there, just good as that. Troy hasn't covered this total in 5 straight games, I believe. And Troy is already bowl eligible, already in the driver's seat. I don't think we see many passes. We're in and out of this one. Baylor, -2.5, -110. I don't see a letdown spot after the win against Oklahoma. I think Baylor keeps rolling. They can control the run here. Like I said, Georgia Tech, money line, -120. Already gave out the Tulane money line, -120. Goose 8 here. It's the perfect time to be back in Rutgers, especially on the road at Michigan State. You can get +10, a total at 40. This game's probably sailing on there. We're probably seeing like a 21-13 type of game. I have to take the double digits here. The numbers just say it. My numbers have Michigan State laying a touchdown here. So if you're giving me a key number, got to take the 10. And then, JD, the reason why I went full Jack Nichols, like nodding the head gif, I have Louisville on the money line at +220 as the hungry dog of the day.
Ooh.
Let's go, baby.
Back-to-back times for Clemson. Clemson usually puts up and shuts up after their single loss of the season here. I thought Louisville was going to have a sleepy spot against Wake. Didn't happen. Last week, potential sleepy spot against JMU. Louisville and Satterfield has them playing. I was out on this team and thought Satterfield was going to be gone. I don't know what the hell he did to build into this team, but they're rolling.
Also, can I just say this real quick? JD said that Clemson used to have good coaches. They used to have good players too. The players fucking stink. The quarterback sucks. The backup quarterback sucks. They have one guy on offense that's good. That's the running back. The receivers, meh. Defense last week, complete no-show. I think they're just trending in the wrong direction. I mean, the only thing I'd be cautious of is that with that loss, the ACC is so fucking trash. They still can do everything they set forth to at the beginning of the season. I don't trust DJ, and I don't trust Klubnik. I think he sucks even worse than DJ, which is hard to do. So yeah, that's tough. The money line, I'm a rock with y'all for sure. But
it's almost like having a coach that doesn't believe players should be paid is a bad thing in today's college football.
Well,
yeah, how about wearing never mind. You're right.
That's what I
We'll
was
just leave it at that. There's other things we can bring up.
Take it left, but
there's other things we can bring up about Dabo. But
and real quick before we go, humor me, y'all. So say Dabo has a similar season that he did to this year. Nick loses 2 games next year again. You know who's going to be first in line for that Alabama job?
Please,
it's going to be Dabo
over Alabama. Please,
nah. Dabo's built a legacy of his own. He's not going anywhere to try and fill anybody's shoes. I think I don't think that'll ever happen.
Now, I don't think he'll be the guy that replaces Nick, but I think he might be the guy who replaces the guy who replaced Nick.
Nah, he got his own legacy at Clemson. He don't got to leave. He can be like Bowden. Bowden ain't win a championship the last 30 years on the job.
Yeah, but
he's in the same situation, bro. He don't got to do a motherfucking thing and be a top 5 coach. He'll never leave Clemson.
Yeah, it depends on what he wants. Because
it'd be like Texas A&M getting Jimbo.
He's got 2 rings. He's got 2 rings at Clemson. He's never leaving ever. It's impossible to ever. They would have to offer him the world and actually be able to show him that they can give it to him.
They can do that. They can do that.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Like again, what he's built at Clemson, no. Kurt, you know why? You know why Roddy's saying that? Because Roddy knows the real first guy they'd want to replace him is his head coach. That's why he just said that bullshit.
He ain't leaving.
Man, like, follow, and subscribe, man. Let's get out of here. Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Roddy.
He don't want to be honest. He don't want to tell the truth.
Like, follow, and subscribe.
We're at the 1 hour mark.
You fucking said it.
We have to do the perfect timing of the show one time this whole season where it's the college sports power hour, and we finally made it like exactly within that mark. JD, what you got?
KJ was warming up, and now they said he's standing on the sidelines, does not appear active. That is significant news. That's about as big of a move for a quarterback. Their backup, we've seen him play, not really a quarterback.
Go Tigers.
We had the longest bets bet section, so skip around there to get all of our plays if you just tapped in now. We covered 5 of the marquee games to start the section. We have a lunch bet through the show as well. We appreciate everyone who came in today's episode. Like, retweet, follow, sub. Sunday morning QBs tomorrow. Same spot next week, next Saturday, and then DFS with JD on Thursday night.